Hi everyone, Tea Drinker here, and today I'm reacting to A Silent Voice. Ooh, a mountain. Mount Fuji, I believe. So thank you so much to everyone who has recommended me this movie after your name. It was heavily requested, so I'm very much excited to see what's going to happen. A Point of the Light. So all I know about this movie is that it's going to be even sadder than Your Name. From what I've heard, that's all I know. Oh my god. Oh, okay. More great animation. Off to a good start already. So he's leaving town, I suppose. Leaving the country if he's closing his bank? Oh, is he going to take his own life? Ooh, that's heavy. Ugh. Ooh, okay. Heavy subject matter. People tried to put us down, talking about my generation. I really hope YouTube copyright will let me keep that clip of me singing in. Why don't you all fade away? It's my generation. So I take it the most in the movie is going to be like a flashback to what we just saw, right? Oh, another romance, I take it. But she's going to be different. So she's mute, I take it, is she? Oh, kono noto. Yeah, this movie's gonna break my heart. I already know. Leave him alone! It's so nice, the kids seem to want to be friends with her. Really liking the music so far, the soundtrack. Oh, they're actually in a music class. Never mind. They all help her, that's so nice. This is interesting the way it's paced. We're spending a lot of time in the school. That's mean. Don't do that. I don't like you anymore, you're an asshole. And you're shit at video games as well. So I take it there's some issue he has within himself that a friendship with her is going to change. I think it's great to get a story about somebody with this disability in anime. Given how many kids look at anime, it's great to see that kind of representation. They can learn from it. Ah! What is wrong with you, you little asshole? I have to learn sign language, like it just seems so useful. The kids learning sign language for her benefit has me like the tiniest bit misty-eyed, not gonna lie. They're doing a good job at making me dislike him. And she's gonna say something like really humble and mature, isn't she? Oh my god, what is wrong with you? How have they not beaten him up at this point? You stay away from her, you little shithead. What the hell is wrong with these kids? Oh! Oh, shit! Oh. That's awful. Mr. Four Eyes, fuck you. I feel so sorry for this poor girl. Why are you apologizing? Why, because he got in trouble? Yeah, she's trying to be friends with you and you're just a little shithead. For the record, I know I am talking about an actual child here. It's a relative term.
西宮さんの補聴器がこの5ヶ月で8個も紛失、学校でいじめられているのではないかと。
Very curious about that flashback, flash forward.
石田、お前だろうが。早く立てよ、おら！
島田、お前も一緒にやってたじゃん。すげえ悪口。
I'm very curious about the further characterization we're going to get with Ishida.
特に
I really appreciate how they're not using music through a lot of these scenes. Like, there'll be a bit of music here that's just underlaying, but a lot of scenes use silence at the sound bed, which I really appreciate. I gotta say, I'm really liking this movie so far just with the slow pace of it. I'm finding it hard to, like, not emotionally lash out at what is an actual child. Like, with teenagers, it's such a precarious situation. Like, they're young enough to act like children, but also old enough to act like adults. It's this weird halfway house between playground bullying and workplace bullying. Do you know what I mean? Oh, that's so interesting. The on her. Oh, because was something similar done to him? Maybe? Oh, okay.
俺の机で何してんの？何やってたんだよ、気持ち悪い。いいやつぶってんじゃねえよ。なあ、言えよ。
Oh, please stop, stop, stop. Oh god, I hate seeing that.
何？
Oh my god.
何言ってんだよ。
This is so sad. This is such an interesting contrast to Your Name. Without spoiling it for those who haven't seen it, in Your Name, the two characters are in their heads too much. In this movie, they're not in each other's heads at all. How much time has passed, I wonder?
覚えてる？俺、小6の時の石田翔也なんだけど。西宮？
Oh.
待って！
Like, above all else, imagine being bullied in school for being deaf. That's so fucked up.
これ、私に来た。
Oh.
忘れ物。西宮。友達になれるかな？言ってたんだろ、小学生の時。
Yeah.
やっと意味わかった。マリア、おはよう。
Oh my god, she's adorable. I'm so interested to hear what she has to say. Yeah, like she'd have to be aware. This is such a tough dynamic. Oh! Well, it's gonna be gone now. Okay, so are we caught up to the main story now? See, this level of introspection does allow me to have a bit more empathy for his character. And so now, if he's struggling in school, he won't have anyone to help him. He's so much more reserved than he used to be in the past. I can only imagine what that level of social isolation must be like in Japan. Ugh. Him having that level of self-deprecation and self-hatred. That's so interesting to have her represent grief for his character. That girl is adorable, I swear to God. Look at her, she's so cute. That scared me as well. Why aren't you helping? Okay. Yeah, of course you did. His reputation is known. Yeah, she would have told him. Yeah. from her perspective as well, you can totally understand where she's coming from. See, this is where I was coming from when I was asking how much ethics can be applied to a teenager.
石田くん見てこれ見てこれ自転車
Oh,
だよね
oh wow.
石田くん
That is very, very strong.
いや君の名前
I'll elaborate more in my review, but it's just such a hard thing to try to apply ethics here.
君は
俺翔子と付き合ってるんで
西宮って年下が好きなんだへえなんか
Wow, that's something to say in this situation.
俺のたちが西宮さんに会いたいっつってんだ長塚くんつべこべ言わずに出せやおら長塚くん
Yeah, so that's the definition of friendship then.
は何なんですオタク
Oh, no, 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 don't.
長塚くん
Okay, at least he didn't actually get physically violent.
これってゆずるちゃん
いやだちょっと俺にも見せろ
Is there going to be a level of reconciliation there?
お前手話わかるのか
I'm curious to see if we're going to get what's inside Nishiyama's head by the end of film.
さ全然知らない人
Never seen it before.
この2週間ずっと考えていた僕が君に会う理由探していた嬉しい私も同じこと考えてた
Oh, she's actually going to give him a second chance, is she? That's a fantastic shot. She has it.
それあんまり見ない方が
Oh, because of what's written inside it. Very literally holding on to the past there. I like how the film is using the journal as a visual metaphor for the theme. And it all comes full circle again. Oh, are we getting more of this character? That's so interesting.
石田君ちょっと職員室に来なさい
Is he going to be chastised for going after her again?
私はなんかいるおいおい大丈夫か
What's happening here?
靴は
Oh, are they being bullied as well?
はいゆずる君
Oh, he brought her.
ねえ兄貴は
That was so nice for him to be brought home with them. Loved the sound design in this film as well.
これ履く俺が履いてたやつだけどもう履かないし
It's so interesting how mistreatment seems to be the web that all of them are caught within,
翔子と
and the thread of which all of them are attached to.
へえ
何それなんかまともな人間にでもなったつもり
I'm glad that they're able to knock down the savior complex.
君たちの間を邪魔するつもりはないからそれはないから
信じ込んじゃってるとこ大変申し訳ないんだけど俺翔子の
妹さん
I knew they characterized her as a girl for a reason.
西宮さんのお母さん
あんなこと付き合っちゃダメよ翔子にも言っといて
I mean, you can 100% understand where the mother is coming from.
おお少年元気してるかおい今日はまたどうしてよえ西宮の妹まあ
That was great. That was a great bit of visual comedy.
メアド知りたいやつさあは
Oh, we're getting the Sahara flashback.
でも河合さんってしっかりしてると思うけど
河合さん
でも真柴君って
Because they would have had a connection there as well.
太陽女子学園
Well, this will be a harder one to try to get into.
おーい連れてきたぞ
I find it so interesting how we get so much of what's inside his mind, but not hers. Not to say that we get nothing necessarily, but it is such a stark contrast nonetheless. Oh. Yeah.
から歩いて
Oh!
ちゃん
There?
私サハラだよ
Oh, wow.
いや俺石田君
So there you go.
ごめんねずっと気になってたんだそういえば胸元大きくなったよね
It's so interesting to see the connection both of them are able to have through their language.
割引券です。
What exactly is going through his head? Did she recognize him in that moment? I don't know. Oh, that's cute.
けえなサハラ。俺には無理だわ。
Hmm. A high school redemption story is not something you see every day.
どうか1時間で。割引券使います。
I thought she was gonna hurt herself.
やば。本当に来た。
小6の時いろいろあって。
Yeah, to say the least.
結構気まずい。帰ろうか。
Oh, I'd love to go to one of those clubs. Cats are so cute. Like, personally, I am a bit more of a dog person, but I love cats all the same. God, I think it's just so strong from a storytelling point of view how little they're giving us from her internal monologue. Hey!
思ってたんだよね。
Hmm.
ごめんね。小学校の時。
Oh, we're getting an apology from her. It's so interesting how each one of them seem to have been scarred in their own way. Oh! Jesus, I was afraid she was gonna get hurt.
元気だ。何？1個しかないの？
上野、何やってんだよ。
投げて遊ぶの。
Fuck you.
ま、せいぜい友達ごっこやってろ。
I hate people like that so much.
何を話してたかって。なんでもないよ。じゃあ。
Him wanting to protect her. Jesus. And how infantilized she must have felt her whole life with people not telling her things. That's a gorgeous shot right there.
ゆぎゅかみたかなって。
ちょ、
いつだって。
西宮。
かんかなって
待って
に。
手話。
ばたい。おえ。えん。
Oh.
ごめん。
Why? She is too pure for this world. She is too precious for these people. You are so pure.
好き？うん。綺麗だね。
Okay, that was really funny. Like, that's such an emotional scene, but that was a really funny beat.
マジで。
Oh, I feel so bad for her. Okay, well, at least she knows that he wasn't, like, actually rejecting her. That would be so much worse.
何かあったの？すごく似合ってる。ちょっとやめてよみんな。
髪型なんで変えたの？
なんで？特別な理由なんてないんだけどな。
Interesting, her ex disappearing as well.
この間西宮が一生懸命言ってることをうまく聞き取れなくてさ。好き。とても簡単な言葉を理解してあげられなかった。
そりゃムカついただろうな。
Yeah.
まあ。
It's so interesting to consider how Ishida sees himself in consideration to her. Yeah, that's what I was curious. Why is Ueno doing this? I haven't been on roller coasters in so long. I would love to try them again.
おい、この手は君のか。俺の野草に失礼なやつだな。甘ったれな。
もう長近くんける。
Jesus, talk about being territorial. That's good. And the X still over Uno's face is a good touch.
ほら、なんていうか。
Oh, never mind.
友達っぽい。
一緒に買いに行こ
おい、ちょっと。
Is she going to apologize for being an asshat?
お待たせしました。こういうおせっかいいらないから。
Oh. Blast from the past.
う。二人がまた昔みたいに仲良くなれたらって思っただけ。会えばなんとかなるかなみたいな。
Okay, so her heart was kind of in the right place.
俺も同じことした。
Hmm. That's a good moment of self-reflection.
石田、私のこと嫌い？
多分。
Hmm. That's very nuanced characterization for Ueno's character.
ジェットコースター乗るからさ。
I think it's probably more appropriate to view her as immature more so than anything else. Not that the rest of the characters are the height of maturity necessarily, but you know what I mean. That's very interesting how we're getting their conversation hidden from us.
翔也なら上にいるわよ。
盗撮。
え？
Oh, maybe not that hidden. What's happening here?
あなたも私のこと理
Okay.
そのせいで石田は友達を亡くしたの。
Of course she's putting the blame on her. Jesus
ご
Christ.
めんだった。別に私は謝ってほしいわけじゃないの。でも今更仲良くしましょうなんて話をするつもりはない。嫌いな者同士さ。握手。
That is just such an interesting character that they've made here. Oh no, don't hate yourself.
なんだよそれ。
If you hit her,
またごめんなさい。
what the hell is wrong with you?
結局
Like, I know what's wrong with you, but it's not an excuse.
私と話す気がないのよ。
もしかしてそれが原因でいじめられてた？許せないんだよな僕。そういうの。
結局石田君は何も変わってない。ある女の子をいじめてたの。
They all did.
何言ってんの河合さん。
This just has so much more maturity than what a fucking American movie would have done. I am generalizing, of course there's gonna be good American ones too, but I mean by and large.
私と違ってなおちゃんは積極的に西宮さんをいじめてた。笑って同調してただけのあんたとはね。私はあの頃。
It's interesting how they're using complicity as a theme as well.
どっちの味方でもないよ。
俺が全部悪いから上野自分勝手に何でもかんでも決めつけんなよ。
Mm-hmm.
可愛い喋るな。昔からお前は自分が可愛いだけなんだよ。
This is like a play, what's happening right now. It's so brilliant. The dynamic of is Ishida helping himself more than actually helping her is just so interesting as well.
夏休みだろ。どっか遊びに。
No, she's totally disenfranchised with you as well.
ばあちゃんはゆずるが心配だよ。姉ちゃんのことばっかで自分のことはちっとも知ろうとしないんだから。ゆずはいい子だよ。
そうかな。毎日お母さんに叱られてばっか。
No.
学校だってずっと行ってない。
What is happening? Really hope that's just confined to a bad dream.
おーいゆず。
I'm worried Yuzu's gonna do something bad to herself. Hopefully she's just crying.
どうでどうで。
なんで？
どうもしないよ。あえて言うならコスプレ。石田。やっぱ怖い。
Great use of silence there. This is truly such an incredible movie. There's so much depth to it. And again, I just love the way it's paced as well. The two of them together. That's such an interesting... Like, so many of these shots are shot the way a live action would be. It's brilliant. It's a nice view.
西宮行ってみようぜ。西宮。
Oh! I was afraid he's gonna slide all the way down.
西宮は私と一緒にいると不幸になると言った。なあ西宮、明日はどこ行く？明日もどっか行こう。俺がここにいんの合ってる？
Oh, I wonder if the mother's going to run into him.
うまそ
Okay, what's gonna happen here?
何してるの？似合ってるよ。
That's so cute. Just a sparse piano working in the background, doing a lot of the emotional lifting there is fantastic.
県のコンクールに写真選んで応募しといたから。
趣味悪い写真ばっかだぜ。
そうでもなかったわよ。
Her own worst critic.
次の火曜日花火大会だぜ、石田。
That's a great way of tying it back to what we saw at the very beginning when he was on the bridge. I love what she's wearing, it's so cute.
西宮の誕生日はいつ？ 6月7日ってもう過ぎてるじゃん。ちゃんと一緒にお祝いしような。あ、一緒にって言っじゃあまたな。
あれ？姉ちゃんは？あ、そうだ石田。ちょっとカメラ撮りに行ってくれ。
I love these character study dramas because you never really know where the plot is going exactly. You can have an idea of the character arc, but the actual external conflict is always anyone's guess. Please do not hurt yourself, I swear to God, Jesus Christ. Please don't. Oh no, they're doing it, aren't they? The use of silence during the sequence is fantastic. He got her! Oh! No, 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 no.
神様どうかもう一振りみんなの顔もちゃんと見ます明日から
What they're doing
みん
it,
な
aren't
の
they?
声もちゃんと聞きますあの時つけた傷俺ちゃんと謝ったっけ
Did I ever apologize for her scar? That's the whole movie in one line.
西宮ちなみに西宮俺はさ
Oh, thank God. Oh, all this is so earned. All the visual metaphors coming back one by one. Oh my God. And now the guilt that she's gonna feel.
それならもう大丈夫。今日から部屋移動したのよ。顔見せてあげて。
おばさん
Oh, what's his condition going to be?
ごめんなさい
どうか翔子ちゃんが無事で何よりです。ゆずりちゃんも。
God.
なんで石田が傷つかねえといけねえんだよ。悲劇のヒロインぶってんじゃねえぞ。なんか言えよ。お前マジ解約なんだよ。なんで何してるのよ。
So much unnecessary pain that's come through this entire story.
これ見たら姉ちゃん死にたいなんて言わなくなると思った
God, this is so much.
どうすればよかったの
Like, had her attempt been successful, everything they're gonna carry around for the rest of their lives.
ヤショはさ、俺みたいなやつ受け入れてくれたんだ。親友ってこういうものなんだって初めて知ったよ。
Mm-hmm. How his actions affect everybody else.
そっか。みんなのところ行ってきたんだ。
Every single one of these characters are struggling so much.
私合わせる顔がない。弱虫
The initial bullying was just a pebble, and everything else is a ripple effect. Ueno's character as a foil to Nishiyama is so interesting as well. All of this coming back, everything rushing back. God, what state is he going to be in? Tuesday is almost over. Jane, Nishiyama. God, so much emotional weight behind this bridge. Another great visual storytelling device. Okay, well, you have your faculties to a degree, by the looks of it.
いや
Oh God. If I wasn't so intellectually devastated, the emotional devastation would come to the surface.
そんな顔しない
At
で
least they're giving us this scene. They're not that cruel to us.
昔のことちゃんと謝ってなかったから、多分君のこと都合よく解釈してた。
Wow, that is a line.
私が変わらなかったからあなたが落ちて私がいなくなれば
Oh Christ, that's so heavy.
夢の中で諦めようと思ってたみたい。俺も
That overlay is
ずっと
fantastic
西
of the
宮と同じ
plane,
こと考えてたけど、
showing the natural world going on while we're in their
値する
internal
ことじゃ
world.
ないと君に生きるのを 手伝ってほしい。キモいことやっちゃったな。
No.
やばい。ごめんね。忘れて、西宮。
You said the perfect thing.
忘れて。
That was a lot.
マリア。
That scene was a lot.
お花見やってたのか。
Oh.
翔ちゃんは生き返ったんだよ。上野さんじゃない？あの子ずっと翔ちゃんの看病をしてくれてたのよ。
God, she's got to be one of the most complex characters in this whole story.
私さ、こんな状態になってやっぱり余計に西宮さんのこと好きになれなくてさ。石田が落ちた時、あんたのこと引っ張り上げたの島田たちだから。
And then the ex is gonna come away, isn't it?
おかえり。じゃあ帰るわ。あ、翔ちゃんおかえり。お邪魔してます。
Oh.
いらっしゃいませ。
ご承田だな。俺に勉強を教えておくれよ。
God, seeing all these characters is just unbelievable.
行き始めたんだな。
頑張ってね。
あ、そういう風に使うんだったのか。
何？
It's great how they represent the changing of the seasons as well. Oh. The fact that they're still in school after all this is insane.
初めて言うけどさ、俺学校で浮いてるんだ。
It feels like they've gone through 10 years worth of
見え
plot.
なくてさ、下向いてていいって。
石田君？石田君じゃん。
It's interesting how the X is stalled before
ちょっと
coming up.
お腹痛いかも。ごめん。やしょ。
Oh, his friend. This is such an incredible film.
長塚君。やしょ。
This type of deep character study is exactly what I'm after.
やしょ。石田君。よかった。無事で。
Yeah.
だからやしょ。
Oh god.
遠くへ行かないでくれ。あと、そのひげどうしたの？
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, what was happening there?
君が早く目覚めるように。
Oh. Oh.
どうしたの？
石田君の名前を叫んでる長塚君の声が聞こえたから。
That shot of looking down at the ground was so good.
ダメだよ。あんな出来損ない。
What did she bring?
別にいいじゃないか。
これ本当はね、全部集めたかったんだけど。
Oh. Just concept of how reputation lingers in a place like this is insane.
君はすごいよ。
そんな深刻な話してねえよ。バーカ。
Oh my god, this character.
逃げた。照れたんだよ。
Seeing Ueno constantly coming up against
お願いがあるんだ
herself
けど。
is just so incredibly interesting.
みんなで一緒に文化祭見て回りたい。
This is undoubtedly one of the most impressive anime films I've seen in a very, very long time. Yeah, and they're all going to... Yeah, of course it was going to happen. Seeing them all connected. If you've made it this far into the reaction video, I just want to say thanks to anyone who has recommended me this film. I'd love more recommendations for movies that are just as deep as this one, but for the love of God, do not tell me anything that's going to happen in the movie at all, or allude to it. Just give me the titles of a movie that you want me to watch after this, that's all I want. The light of the end of the tunnel there was just really, really strong during that ending sequence. Okay, so that is my reaction to A Silent Voice, and just right before I get into the review, I want to say again, thank you so much to everyone who has checked out both this video, but as well as the channel so far. Your Name got to 2,000 views. Like, when I got to 500, that felt like I hit the jackpot. To get to 2,000 was absolutely insane. As I was saying in the reaction, if there's any other films similar to this that you guys would recommend, I'd absolutely love to see what they are. I would prefer if you don't allude to any information whatsoever, especially not if a movie does or doesn't have a sad ending. That pretty much gives the whole thing away. Somebody inadvertently left that as a comment on the Your Name video in a well-meaning way, but still, I do like to go into these films just absolutely as blind as humanly possible. That's just how I get the most out of these reactions, especially with a film like this where I was expecting it to be another romance because it was recommended consistently after Your Name, and it is certainly very different from Your Name. But be that as it may, thank you so much for watching this reaction, and now here is the review. Okay, so it's been about an hour later. I've had a bit of time to kind of, digest everything that I've just seen, and I was going through the Wikipedia synopsis just to kind of make sure that I did catch every single detail, which I did, thank God, as well as they kind of elaborated a bit on maybe some of the themes of the movie, the symbolism. I'm not that interested in getting into it, not because I don't think it's relevant. I think that a lot of what I found so profound about that film was said within the actual reaction itself. First of all, just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to be referring to the protagonists as Nishiyama and Ishida. I know that there's Shoko and Shoya as well with their first names. I'm just going to use surnames. I find it easier just to separate the characters a little bit more. I think that there is clearly a lot that film does, and as I did say in the reaction itself, I absolutely love this type of film. This is just bang on the money with the type of movie that I respond to. I think that when it comes to anime, but also just television and film and literature in general, the likes of psychological drama, the likes of character study, having a story that is where all the plot is the direct result of how the characters think and feel about situations, to me, that is bang on the money. I mean, everybody's different. Some people are more into specific, like, let's say, action genre when it comes to films and TV. Maybe people would be into the likes of something with a enormous amount of set pieces. I gotta tell you, if that entire thing that I watched had actually been a collection of conversations, I could imagine so many of that, particularly with the bridge scene in which the entire friend group kind of come at one another. Something like that kind of struck me almost something akin to a play, nearly. I could imagine that being presented on stage. So if you've made it this far into the video and now you're watching the review, you're probably the type of person that would want to see more that I react to. So I will just say, for the record, if you could recommend me anything along the lines of what this film was, I'm going to absolutely devour it. I'm going to truly love it. Just give me the title. Don't tell me anything else. Just say you should watch. Give the name of the title and don't mention anything else. I truly like to go in as blind as possible to these things. But yeah, I mean, like, I gotta tell you, even more than Your Name, I loved this movie. And Your Name was brilliant. I kind of had the idea in my head when it was coming to kind of the climax of the movie between Nishiyama and Ishida, when they had their reconciliation, the big emotional one. I kind of had the thought in my head in that Your Name is a very heavy and moving film just purely on an emotional level, because it's just there, it's just all on the surface level, whereas this hits so much more for me on an intellectual level with regards to there's so much you don't see. You don't see the underbelly of depression and anxiety and just trauma that Nishiyama has been carrying around for years growing up in this sort of society. We know that she has, because we see that she is so empathetic from the very beginning that she's willing to apologize just for an equilibrium to be reset. So we know that what has been going on for her for all these years has taken its toll on her. So for me, that's an example of how we don't need to see that suffering. We can just infer it from everything else going on. And I did say it in the reaction, but how I would very much describe what a lot of this film is, it's a web. They're intentionally creating a character web, so then when one character does a particular thing or reacts a particular way or says something to a particular person, it creates this large ripple effect. So it's essentially a film in which all these ripples are bouncing off one another. And for it to happen with such a serious and profoundly personal subject matter, to do with social isolation, to do with taking one's own life, and just general mental illness, I thought was extremely powerful. I suppose there's a good lot that you could talk about with the complexity of the characters, but kind of rather than go one by one through them, I don't really think it's that necessarily, just given the fact that so many of the similar characters kind of come up again and again. You have characters who, not one person in the story is posited as being absolutely black and white. Not even Mishiyama, to a particular degree. As I said in the reaction, having a character like Ueno, regardless of your own feelings towards her, she does seem to be of an effective foil for Mishiyama, because Mishiyama, they did this great thing with ambiguity where her reluctance to speak and to communicate with one another, to communicate with others, we won't know for sure how much of that was truly because she was dealing her feelings with isolation, or maybe there was a degree of lashing out, maybe there was a degree of passive aggression, maybe there was a degree of her feeling like she was owed a lot more than she actually received. I don't think that the film was trying to portray her as this absolute angel who everyone is affected by, because this film is so mature, it's so well written, and it's so absolutely laser focused on understanding characters, that for them to do that with this girl would, as dark as it is to say, if they were trying to portray that kind of a story, then what would make more sense would be to have had her die very early on, or die without us actually knowing what's really going inside her head. I think that that's what they would have done if they're trying to tell that type of story. But the film seems to be a bit more nuanced than that. Now, that isn't to say that she doesn't have a malicious side at all, nor is it trying to say that the malicious side that she does have ranks equally against everyone else. It's not really trying to do that. I think that Mishima's shortcomings will, and this is why I'm not necessarily doing a character by character breakdown, because this applies to so many of them. Her shortcomings are so much going to be based on trauma response. And I think the character of Ueno is so interesting as a contrast to Ishida, in that from a very early stage, so much of his entire character arc is about trying to take responsibility. It is about retribution and redemption. And of course, there's the conversation to be had about how much of that is him doing it for his own benefit, even if it is going to hurt other people. But the film seems to portray what's happening in a very non-judgmental way, and saying that, well, you know what? If that is the case, if he is trying to help himself purely for the sake of helping himself, that's not great. But, I mean, it's not terrible either. These are extremely complex issues, and the fact that the film takes place entirely within a high school just makes it exponentially more complicated. I said a couple times within the first quarter and first third of the film, I was very vocally adamant to chastise Ishida, and I think whilst my emotional reaction can be validated, once you do kind of cool down and you reflect a little bit, and again, I did say it several moments later in the reaction, is that I am aware that these are just children. But when you're dealing with teenagers / young adults, it's so much of a grey area as to how much responsibility you put onto them for their own actions. I find myself a little bit self-conscious just in the sense that I don't want this review to be too short, because I think that it's such a moving movie and it's also so complicated that I would feel remiss if I just gave this a 5 to 10 minute review. But at the same time, I feel as though so much of it presents itself so clearly, it doesn't necessarily need to be dissected. I think that the subject matter is presented, but also more importantly, the characters themselves seem to be so universal. I think that having it take place within Japanese culture is for sure very, very poignant and very, very apt. particularly with one of the biggest overarching themes of social isolation. But everything that's going on is so realistic, and it's something that can be related to by every culture, I feel. I think that I'm going to use words like mature and complex again and again, but it really is, because these characters, it's one thing for them to have basically every single character be one that operates in an ethical gray area, where you're able to make arguments for and against their nature. In particular, the likes of Ishida, Mishiyama, and Ueno, those three together, for me. Yuru to a certain degree as well, but with her being a bit younger, it becomes a bit more complicated and also a little bit simpler, in the sense that it's complicated because she is just a child. It's also very simple because she is just a child, but I digress. With them being as complicated as they are, it's one thing for them to be nuanced to the point where they are within, as I said a minute ago, the ethical gray area, but they're also in an emotional gray area. It's difficult at times to really tell exactly what's going through this character's head. Again, case in point in that bridge scene with all of them there, where it's really easy to interpret Ishida's character as one that can be chastised for thinking of himself, but also completely validated. And a character like Ueno, who seems to be genuinely hurt, but also just the most childish amongst them, by far, in my opinion. I think that what was created by this film was just this immaculate microcosm of what it is for a civilization to break down. When you think of stories in which civilizations break down and then new paradigms need to be constructed, it's easy to think of the likes of Lord of the Flies, and I know that, of course, you could make the argument that this isn't necessarily a destruction and rebuilding of civilization. It's more so each person doing that within themselves. But at the end of the day, if everybody's actions lead towards not one but two characters wishing to take their own life, then you can have the inverse of the expression, he who saves one life saves humanity entire. One who kills one life kills humanity entire. And you can have all the debates you want about how, well, these things are very, very complicated and no one's to blame, but of course that's not what the film is trying to... The film is so committed to giving us the impression that everyone is responsible. And if you only look at things in the most extreme terms, well, congratulations, you're never going to hold yourself accountable, you're never going to be a bad person. Give yourself a nice old pat on the back for that. I kind of feel at this particular point, and to be honest, maybe this is just actually the way I could do reviews. So when I took my break for an hour, I was thinking to myself, would this be better suited if I could rewatch the movie and consolidate my ideas a lot better? I feel as though that might be a bit diminishing returns, just in the sense that it could end up being a little bit more contrived than possible. And look, there's going to be the comments section of this video anyway. I'm sure that as I have a bit more time to digest ideas and hear what you guys have to say, I'm so looking forward to hear what other people have to say about this film. I'm probably going to hold off on looking up anything else about this film past the Wikipedia page, just so I can hear directly from you guys. But I think that kind of just giving my off-the-cuff response to the film is really what's going to be apt. And to be honest, look, I can see how long this review has already ended up being. I think I'm going to start wrapping things up. There is a lot more to say. I think maybe I could say it a little bit better in the comments section if it's stuff I need to elaborate on. I think I've gotten the gist of the most important things said in this review. Just production-wise, the music, cinematography, I commented on that in the reaction. It doesn't necessarily require reiteration. I'm just so impressed by this. I'm so impressed by this. There's another Japanese film I've seen. It's live action a couple of years ago, and it was nominated for an Oscar as well, called Drive My Car. It's actually stylized in the katakana, literally, Doraivu Mai Ka. So, and it was a much longer film, but it seemed to deal with these levels of real emotional and character introspection, which I really, really loved. But that is really what I loved so much about A Silent Voice. As I said in the reaction, when you get a character drama like this, you can understand where things are going to go with regards to character arcs, but with regards to the actual plot, you have no idea where it's going to go. And to me, that's so enticing. Rather than trying to, trip up the audience with a plot or create something complicated for the sake of complicated so they don't know what's going to happen. Well, 9 times out of 10, they do know what's going to happen. So instead, what you do is you create a story in which you're so transparent and you're so honest with exactly what is going on with these characters. They have an idea of knowing that it is only going to be 2 or 3. It's only really going to be 2 or 3 conclusions that the film could come to. But instead, you make the characters and you make the world so compelling that people end up hanging on every single word. And I think really that's as much as I want to say about this film. I absolutely adored it. I really, truly, truly did. I think maybe given my reaction to Your Name, people were maybe expecting me to cry during this. I was actually expecting to cry during this, but I was, in the best way possible, I was drained by this movie, and I am so looking forward to seeing more. So as I said, for my 3rd time now, I'll just say that if there are other films in a similar vein to this and Your Name, but more so this, I would absolutely love to see them. All you have to do is just leave the name in the comments and I'll see which ones get liked. I see kind of how other people respond to each other as well, so I'll know which ones are the ones worth checking out. Just don't tell me anything about what's going to happen. I do like going in as blind as possible. And yeah, that's about it. And I suppose this is just this isn't even the end to my thoughts on this film. That is going to continue in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching this reaction and for watching the review as well. I have to say once more just how unbelievably moved I am by the amount of attention this channel, in particular the video for Your Name, has gotten so far. 2,000 views is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm truly, truly blown away. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.